Heightfields have changed quite a bit in Houdini 22. A lot of the nodes have been ported over to COPS, and now we can work with them inside of COPS. So let's take a look at the new workflows with that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm in a SOP create here. I'm just going to drop down our Heightfield nodes because I do want to point out that we are in SOPs and we do still have these available to us. So we don't have to work with COPS if we don't want to, but they are still available to us. So we still have our Heightfields, our Heightfield noises, everything like that. But if we wanted to work with the new stuff in COPS, which works very quickly and is kind of GPU enabled, you can do this as well, and works with all the different tools inside of COPS. So there's two different ways to set this up, so I want to cover both of them. The first one, which is going to be the preferred way, is to drop down a Heightfield COP. So a Heightfield COP network. And all this is a regular COPNet that has some settings that have been changed. So it's going to have this default border type set to clamp, and this is all to make it match kind of what you would see in COPS, or what you would expect out of SOPs, I should say, sorry, not COPS, what you would expect out of SOPs when you're working with the SOP Heightfield tools. So we've got this default border type set to clamp, and then our canvas is set to from image plane, and we're going to be on that ZX plane with a uniform scale of 500. And that's just going to make it so all of our nodes inside of here are going to be set up to the size and orientation that we would expect when you're working with Heightfields and SOPs. So let's go ahead and dive in here. And there are a whole bunch of Heightfield nodes. So you can see if I type in HF, we're going to have a whole bunch of different Heightfield nodes here. And they're going to kind of work a lot like the SOP tools. So let's drop down this Heightfield noise. I'm not going to go over all these, but there's some things that I want to cover with this. So we will take a look at those. So this Heightfield noise, if we look here, this is actually just a fractal noise 3D that is a recipe. So it's set up to have the settings so that it is set up kind of to work like you would expect with a Heightfield, or the kind of shapes are going to match what you would expect out of the shapes of a Heightfield. So our amplitude set to 500, our element size is set to 500. Change the settings down here in the fractal. If we drop down just a normal fractal noise 3D, we can set this all up ourselves. So if I look at this, we can just set our amplitude to 500 with our element size to 500 as well, and change this over to sparse convolution. Now you see this is actually a flat plane, so this is not exactly what we're looking for out of a Heightfield. The reason for that is if we come up to this type info, we can check this and we can change this to height. And now it's going to display kind of what we would expect. And we can change this to that hybrid terrain as well and get something that looks like this. So this is pretty close to what we see out of the Heightfield noise here. And they're the same thing. It's just the settings have been changed to match. So I do want to point out that this Heightfield, or this type info, is available on a lot of different nodes here. So we can drop down different noises, like let's say this bubble noise. If we just set this type info to height, you can then play around with this, and all the settings are going to be a little bit different depending on the noise or the node. So let's maybe set this to like 20 with an element size of like 10, not even, maybe like just 2. And you can see that we get something that is, I mean, could be useful for terrain workflows, I guess, if you drop this into like a Heightfield or road maybe, which again, this is one of the nodes that has been ported over. And I don't know, you could do some weird stuff with this. It's already kind of looking like some kind of weird alien terrain, and you can play around with all the different stuff here. I'm not going to go too much into the Heightfield or road node, but there is a bunch of other noises here. Maybe like, I don't know, this cloud noise 3D. Again, if we just set this to height, we can play around with this, maybe 200 and 200. That's probably way too much. Let's turn that down. Even that's probably too much. So, you know, we get something kind of like this. So you can play around with all this, and again, you can feed it into the different Heightfield nodes and get some different things based off of that. Well, let's say we wanted to take our Heightfield from SOPs and bring that in. So I can just copy that node that we want to bring over, and we can come in here. Let's do a SOP geometry. We'll click this use external SOP and we will paste that path into there. And we get our height field in here, but it's not going to be something that we can work off. You can see that this is a geometry output versus this, which is just a mono channel. So if we want to work on it, we need to do a geometry to layer. We can click this set imports from geometry, and that's going to give us our height and our mask layers. So if we look at this, you can see if we had a mask, we would get that as well. We get our height here, and then we can, play around with this. So if we wanted to do like a blend, we want to blend between maybe our height field noise here in the background with our one that we created in SOPs in the foreground. We can then put like a height field mask by feature. So let's look at this. If I look at this, this is going to be a flat plane here. So it's kind of hard to tell what exactly is going on with this based off of your height information. So if we come to our height field noise here and we take that, there's this new little icon here that we can click, which is going to display this as a 3D geometry. So it's the 3D output flag. If we click that, we're going to have this pop up on our view as our 3D output. And I believe that hotkey is T. Yeah, it's T. So if we were to select a different node, we were to select something else. That's not necessarily a good example, but like a constant or something, it's going to then display that on our object here. We can do if we did like a fractal noise and we set this to a RGB, it displays over our 3D object here. So we can do that with our mask by feature, and then we can maybe uncheck the slope. Maybe we check by height, click that compute range, and then we can just kind of drag this down. And let's say maybe we want to blend the lower parts out into our SOP height field. We can take that and we can do that as well. And this is maybe, really harsh right here. So we can take this and we can set this smooth radius, which kind of gives an okay-ish result. I'm not a huge fan of that. So let's say we take a blur. We can still work over that as well. So we can take this and, crank this up. Maybe we set this to 0.15. And now we get something that's, quite a bit smoother and looks and quite a bit better. So we can, again, come back to this and we can play around with all of the different stuff here. And it's all GPU enabled. So it's very, very quick. Maybe we want to not do it by the height, but the peaks and valleys. Maybe see what this gives us. Maybe let's play around with some of this. It's not really giving me anything on this particular one. Let's try something else. We can do it based off of a direction here. So this gives us, something completely different. And if I uncheck that, you can see kind of what we get. Or if we take this mask down, you can see kind of a before and after. So you can play around with this, do all we want. And then, like I said, this works very, very quickly. We can use all of these different nodes. So if we wanted to, drop an add node, we could add these together. And we're just kind of like multiplying our height field. We can literally use all of the different height field nodes as well as the non-height field nodes as well. So we've got like height field slump that we can use, give us something interesting. The only one that's really kind of going to take a second to calculate is this height field erode from memory. I think the other ones are pretty quick here. But you can see this is kind of real time what you're getting as far as these. So let's see, we've got like the strata. The strata is pretty cool. So in the past, I found that the SOP tools are a little bit hard to get decent results out of. I don't know what it is, but I feel like height fields and COPs are a little bit easier to get, decent looking terrains and such out of. So maybe that's just me. I'm not sure, but in my opinion, I think it's worth taking a look at them, and you might find it easier to get a little bit better results out of cops. But again, that may be just my own personal stupidity. I don't know. But yeah, you can play around with all these different things. You can simulate this as well. So if you wanted to, you can see how quickly this runs. So it's running pretty quick. If I bring up our display options and turn on our draw time, see we've got our FPS down there. So it's running about 7 frames per second on my 3090. So it runs pretty quick here. It's all GPU enabled. So again, we can take advantage of our GPU. So let's take a look, if we don't have this Heightfield CopNet set up, how we can go about doing this. So if we just have a normal CopNet, we jump in here, we've got, like, let's say our fractal noise. See, now we're in the wrong orientation and everything like that. So we can drop down a Heightfield. So this is going to have that type info set. Again, you can do this and just set this to height. And then we can take this and do a Heightfield transform 3D. And we can set this rotation to -90 degrees and the uniform scale up to 500. And now we get something that is more like what we'd expect. So if I set this again to that 500 sparse convolution, 500. This was the wrong fractal noise. Let's do the fractal noise 3D. Again, type info, height 500. So this is displaying weird. I guess this doesn't work super well in this case with the height set like that. So let's set that back to none. I hadn't played around with that in this workflow. So what I would normally do is take this Heightfield layer, wire this into the height here. We've got this set to -90 with the uniform scale of 500. So now we are in the correct kind of view here. So if we wire this into the size ref here, now we get kind of what we're looking for. So I guess with this, if you want to use the height, or let me leave this as is so we can kind of compare. Let's set this to height here. We would need to do the Heightfield transform still, but probably not that scale of 500. It's kind of in a weird positioning. That's very interesting. So let's scale this up. Again, that's too big. And let's set this back to something more reasonable here. There we go. So our settings here would kind of need to match. So if you want to keep them kind of in that smaller range, you can. But this is kind of floating on our ground plane, so I wouldn't recommend this as well versus like this, where we get this where we would expect it. This is kind of like zero centered versus this, which is not, it'd be hard to get this to work this way. So I would recommend not using this type info if you're going to be doing this in a non-Heightfield CopNet. But again, the advantage to using the Heightfield CopNet is with any of these. So if I try to do like the bubble noise, I would need to wire in this to the size reference again. And I forget what we used for this, but like 20 and 2 or something like that. Yeah. So we'd have to wire in to the size reference on like all of these whenever we wanted to use them. It doesn't have to be this Heightfield transform. We can wire this into as well. but you'd have to do that to any of these that you're using. So the advantage of the Heightfield CopNet is that you don't have to wire all those in. So it keeps your node graph a little bit cleaner, and a little bit of extra steps there that are taken away. Also, I don't think I kind of showed this, but the geometry normally has this like wireframe on it. If you hit Shift W, it'll turn that on and off. And you still have like I thought there was a Heightfield like preview. Maybe not. But either way, so we can take these if we want to. This doesn't have any geometry in here. So if we wanted to convert it to geometry, we need to come out here and do a convert Heightfield still. And we need to make sure if we look at our outputs here on our primitives, this is set to noise. So if I dive back in here, we can just, simple way of doing this is just take this. This has got like a height output. These all have height outputs. But if you have one of these that doesn't, like this Heightfield noise, we can set this to height. And then if we output this, we should be having this output properly. Maybe if I uncheck this, there we go. Because I had that 3D display flag set. It was wanting to output our Heightfield noise. So make sure you turn that display off because that messes things up. That's a little weird that is the way that is. It probably shouldn't be that way. But who am I to say? Then we can turn off our UVs here, and then again, we've got our geometry here. Shift W, you can see that we've got our Heightfield now converted to our polygons. So then you can continue to work on it inside of SOPs if you wanted to, do whatever you want there. But anyways, hopefully this has helped you out, get you up to speed with some of the new stuff in the Heightfield tools inside of Copernicus and Houdini 22. Lots of really cool stuff here. It's pretty fun to play around with. It's very, very quick, a lot quicker than the Heightfield, like the erosion specifically. Heightfield erode. If I were to erode this, you can see, actually this runs off of CopNet now as well. So it used to be a lot slower. This probably works pretty close to as fast. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit slower. I think we're getting like 7 FPS, so maybe a little bit slower, but if you dive inside here, it works off of a CopNet as well. So it is enabled, GPU enabled as well. But anyways, that is kind of the new stuff with Heightfields inside of Cops in 22. Again, like I said, hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them in the comments below. But if you want to learn more about the new stuff that's coming out or that has come out in Houdini 22, I will be posting a bunch of other videos about the new stuff as well in the future. So make sure you stick around for any of those if you're interested. But anyways, thank you guys for watching and have a good day.